Hello, I'm Sophiralou and welcome to my channel.
Hello guys, and welcome to a new series of videos in which we talk about comics, about how to get your comic started from the very beginning up to a finalized product. And the first thing I really want to talk about is thumbnailing. But before we go into that, this is something that I've wanted to do for a while, and it's something that is mainly encouraged by you guys. And I really am passionate about comics, and I want to give on a few hints and tips that I myself have picked up while I've been doing them. If you guys have any hints and tips, or if you want to share anything that you do, leave some in the comments down below. I'll also be answering some of the questions that I've been asked through Instagram and Twitter, so that I can give a bit of feedback on you guys on how to improve your comics. So let's start. As you can see, I am currently thumbnailing and doing my comic Marie and Prickles. I'm trying to get this done in time for Comic-Con. Let's fingers crossed that I can. But as you can see, I literally start off by writing the premise of the comic that I want to do, and then thumbnailing my layout and ideas. Thumbnailing is super important. This will show you roughly what your layout is going to be. Now, it does take a while for you to let your panels flow quite naturally and for you to get used to being able to do panels, but research is very important. Look at your peers around you and see how they have managed to produce these amazing comic pages, and look at how they manage to do their layout. Layouts typically in a Western format read from left to right in an S shape. An Eastern format does similarly right to left, but also follows the same S rule because it's easy for eyes to follow. Remember to always keep your pages fun, flowing, and don't be afraid to break out of the square panels. Not every panel has to be square. It is for fun. You are going to enjoy doing comics if you keep your pages fun. The few tips that I have for you is when you're planning out your comic, make sure you leave a 5mm bleed on the outside. This is so that when printing anything that does go around this outside of this 5mm bleed, you know that you do not mind this being cut off. So make sure that you leave your comic panels well far away from the 5mm bleed. So if you want anything that's not cut off, make sure it doesn't go into this section here. Also, if you're going to do speech bubbles, actually include them in your layout. This will help you to understand how you want each panel to flow and how you want each speech bubble to go. You also want the speech bubbles to be easy to read, nice and dynamic, to follow the actual flow of what your comic is going to be. The worst thing that you can do is draw these beautiful panels and then have nowhere to put the speech bubble. So make sure you plan for put the speech bubble in your comic. Trust me, I've had a few times where that's gone wrong. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer some questions that I have been asked on Instagram and Twitter. If you guys have any questions about comics, please feel free to leave them down below. I will be free to answer any questions, and they may be featured in some future videos as I talk about comics. My next video that I want to do is I want to talk about how you can get into comics and where you should get your inspiration and ideas from to be able to do a fantastic comic series. Let me know if this is something that you're interested in, because I myself am really passionate about comics, and I'd love to see more people in the indie comics scene because I think it's an amazing scene to be part of. So anyway, let's answer some questions. So the first question I'm going to answer is by Raggedy Rose Arts. You will see the little question pop up in the corner. For my answer to this, I would say panel layouts should always follow the reader's natural reading habit. Typically, yet again, left to right in Western format and right to left in Eastern format. Your panels should be clear and precise and easy to follow. You can do this by following the easy S shape and making sure that your panels keep an interesting layout, as well as making sure that they are easy to read, concise, and don't over saturate your comic page with panels. Sometimes less is more. Similarly to Miko Bruksami, as for getting into panel layouts and deciding what actually goes in them, I do very quick loose sketches and make notes, so I understand if I'm really not sure in what to put on in a panel, exactly what I want to go in this scene. Thumbnailing your layout and look at how other people have approached the same panel that you want to do. Almost to say if you're going to do a fighting scene, how another artist may have done that. almost like apply it to your work, research how they've done it and why does it work, why is it something in particular about this page that works. This will really help you when it comes out to laying out your own comics for yourself, and also help you understand what works and what doesn't. This is why thumbnailing is so important, as it really does help in the final layout process. This question by Patty Cakes. Thumbnailing was kind of something that I started while I was at university. I took it on at university because we were taught that you should do like a rough concept before you show a client, when you show a client what you're planning on doing for a final piece. This is a fantastic way of showing a client what your final product will be without finalising a drawing. Colour also takes into that as well. University taught me that thumbnailing was such an important way of just showing what you want to do for the final product that I now naturally just do it. I naturally do like half finished sketches before I do, so I basically go roughs, then half finished sketches, and then I do like my final piece. And this is so that I can understand exactly what goes in what section and how I am going to lay everything out. Choosing colours is also a part of that as well. I sometimes really struggle with choosing colours. I just kind of go for what I feel suits the scene. You kind of get a better idea of what works with colour the more you use colour. So sometimes doing colour swatches actually just really helps before you choose what you finally want for your product. I hope that helps. And then moving on to this question by Pango Shroom, which is also similar. You tend to go for colours you think would suit the overall piece best. So if I'm going for an angry piece, I'm going to use like harsher colours and harsher tones, like a lot of darker shading to go with a lot of like really bright. So like I would use like a very dark shading to go with very bright red to make it something look more dramatic. Or if I wanted something softer, I tend to go for like softer pastel-y tones. You tend to apply this also not to only your comics but to illustration as well. Colour palettes can be hard to choose, and yet again I know that I struggle, but colours can really change a piece, so it would be best to look at what you feel would suit the mood. Yet again, colour swatching can help alongside thumbnailing to really help this process. This next one by Alyssa, you should really design a character that you think would be fun to draw over and over again. Use character sheets. They actually help you to remember exactly what design, what shape you've gone for. And if you've not seen it, my previous video which I did, which talked on character sheets for comics, I will leave a link to on the top right. This is something that I am quite passionate about because I always forever forget like what a character is wearing. When I do Jelly Bean, sometimes I forget that she's got a tail, which sounds really stupid as it's an important part of the design, but when you're drawing a character over and over again, character sheets can really be there to help you completely understand what is best for you and for what you should do in that sort of aspect. Take in like inspiration from lots of different things and look at what the typical attributes for sort of characters are. You will find that angrier characters or meaner characters will have sharper shapes, whereas softer characters, nicer characters will have rounder shapes. I will touch on this better in a video where I would like to talk about character designs, but this is kind of something that I throw into everyday aspects. Look at Disney, they're a fantastic example of what to do for good and bad characters, and they will really help you with your work. This is for Bayesian. Planning and thumbnailing really helps your process. Sometimes I mainly focus on my background first and then put my character into the piece. So I'll do a quick thumbnail of the background, do a quick thumbnail of the character, and then I will work them into a panel, or I'll work them into a layout, roughly sketching it again and again and seeing if different angles work best. Try different ways to make your character and your background look best. Sometimes a top view, sometimes a low view, sometimes a slightly angled view will look better rather than you not doing that at all. So when thinking about poses, mine made of clouds, what I tend to do is I really like flowing poses that take interesting shapes. I highly recommend a site called Pose Maniacs. If I'm really struggling, this site absolutely helps. Imagine when you're drawing a character, you are taking a still from a piece of animation. That where your character posing will look always more dynamic and more interesting. This is from Adele's art. It all depends on the flow. If you are doing a character talk in like a talking scene, so that when two characters are interacting or more, try different angles to really sell the dialogue. In action scenes, break out the panels, change camera angles, and this does take practice, but it starts becoming more natural to do this, and this is why thumbnailing helps with your comics, as it does help you lay out your comics more consistently and makes it more of an enjoyable read, really. Everything just takes practice and nothing's going to come out perfect straight away. Kim has wishes. Firstly, congrats on getting to the finish line for university. I bet you'll do awesome. But I would say when trying to add oomph in action, I find like changing angles and breaking characters out of the panel really helps. Marvel and DC Comics are like the masters of looking at how to change up your dynamic impressions in your work. Research their methods and see how you can input them into your panels. Follow the natural S shape when reading, but this will help your layouts improve if you're looking at how other people. It isn't necessarily copying, but you are basically looking at how someone else has done something and how you could apply that into your work. People have been doing comics for years, and you will find that people's who comics read really well, you will enjoy them more because their comics have been easier and more enjoyable to read. We're on the last question now. This is for I'm not going to pronounce that correctly, Stoikov. If you're asking about inspiration, I find pretty much inspiration anywhere. I'm mainly inspired by music, colours and films. I have loads of art books to look through from my biggest inspirations of Disney and Pixar and all these amazing artists and illustrators. You'll find inspiration everywhere, and my biggest inspiration for my work is Gustav Klimt, Alphonse Mucha, Clamp, Ayazawa, and lots of different things really inspire my work. I really hope this has been helpful, and if you guys have any questions, I know this is a slightly longer video than normal, but I felt this was important to get sort of like my hints and tips for comics. If you guys like this video, please let me know, and if you want to see more content like this, please let me know. I really want to do more videos like this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and if you have any questions, I will answer them as quick as I can. Maybe comment if you want to, subscribe if you wish to see more like this. But as always, folks, stay creative.